The good life, full of fun, seems to be the idea.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. We are in Italia. You know, a lot of times when you hear videos and people say we're going to do an authentic Italian dish, this is truly an authentic Italian dish. I'm actually in my house, my villa in Italy, in Vito del Gargano. I'm very excited. This is the first time we've ever done a cooking video here at my house in Italy. So I'm very excited to bring this with you. So I thought today what I would share with you is one of my favorite dishes. My camera person, she loves eggplant, so we thought we'd make an eggplant. I can't talk, I'm so excited to be here. Eggplant Parmesan. You guys ready for that? Alright, so what I did is I jumped ahead a little bit, just to save us a couple of steps here, save us some time, okay? So, just to kind of get us going, we've got eggplant, right? That's our major ingredient, right? So we're going to cut those up, and I already did that, but I want to show you how to do that. It's an important step. So we've got our eggplants, right? And then we've got a pan of sauce. So I'm going to make a large eggplant. Isn't that a beautiful dish? I'm going to make a large eggplant Parmesan for myself and for my cugina and my amigos and all that good stuff, okay? So we've got some sauce. Now, this is the Parmigiano-Reggiano. This is good stuff, man, I'm going to tell you. I'm shocked that there's actually any cheese left because in shredding it, I was eating a lot of it, okay? So what we've got is about 3 cups of the Parmesan. Remember, it's eggplant Parmesan, so you're going to have basically a lot of Parmesan in there, right? Okay, and then I've got right here, this is the mozzarella. Oh my God, this is gold right here, man. And you mix that with the cheese. Oh, can you guys taste this right now? Oh my God. You know, what's beautiful in Italy is the cheeses, they don't pasteurize the cheese. So what's great about that is it's fresh. It has a lot more living bacteria, and that's what gives it that flavor of the cheese. It gives it that authentic. So it's got a depth of flavor that you typically don't get in the United States. So we've got our sauce, we've got some homemade sauce, we've got about 2.5 to 3 cups of Parmesan cheese, we've got about 2.5 cups of mozzarella, or mozzarella as they say here in Italy, okay? And then what I did is I've got the eggplant. So a very simple dish, and with our eggplant, what we want to do is we want to prepare it. Now there's so many different variations of an eggplant Parmesan, okay? What I'm going to do is a simple one. We're going to roast the eggplant. This is very traditional in Puglia. A lot of times in the United States, in some areas of Italy, what they'll do is they'll cut the eggplant, right, and then you'll salt it and dry it, if you will, and then you'll bread it, fry it, and then put it in a eggplant parm. And that's great, but that's actually more traditional for American or different areas of Italy. In Puglia, they roast a lot of the vegetables. It's very popular to roast vegetables. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. So to get started, you're going to take your eggplant, you're going to cut it, okay? Now what you want to do is you want to cut it relatively thinly, because remember, in an eggplant parm, like any parm, you're going to put layers of the eggplant, okay? So you're going to take the eggplant and you're going to slice it. Now one of the things that I like to do is I like to put a slice down the eggplant in about 4 to 5 areas. Now why do I do that? Because rather than peel the eggplant, you know, the skin tastes great, but what will happen sometimes, if you guys ever had that experience, you bite into something and the skin stays intact, so you're pulling a whole string of the skin, which I don't like. So I put a couple of cuts in there just to make it easy. And then what I do is I'm going to put some slices. I won't cut this whole eggplant, but just to show you what I went ahead and did already. So I'm cutting them about, say, 1/4 inch. You can do it thicker, which is fine, okay? So there's our eggplant, all right? Oh, smells like Italy, right? And then essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take salt, right? And you're just going to salt each side of the eggplant, okay? And then what that's going to do is a few things. One, eggplant is really high in fiber, so you want to break some of that fiber down. You're also going to want to bring a lot of the moisture out of the eggplant. So that's what we're going to do. And essentially you put it in a pan, strainer like I did here, okay? And this has been set for about 2 hours. Now my grandmother, what she would do, she would actually wring it, just like a towel. A lot of times I've seen different people in Italy, they've put plates, so they'll put heavy plates on there and it'll squeeze that moisture out. Why do you want the moisture out? Again, one, you want the fiber, the sponge to be empty, okay? And then two, you want the fiber to be broken down. And what it does is it enriches, if you will, or gives it a concentrated flavor of the eggplant itself, which is delicious. An eggplant, because of its density and its flavor, it's the meat. It's the meat vegetable, so it has a meaty flavor. Kind of simulates the flavor of meat. So these have been sitting here a while, and you're going to see, if you can see here, they're thin, right? They're thin, and you're going to see how it's all broken down. See how they start to, it starts to break everything down for you. So really neat. See how that's all kind of broken down? So now what we're going to do is we're going to roast it. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to lay each of the layers on. I've got the oven preheated, 375, 400 degrees. We're going to lay it, we're going to roast it. We want to roast it till it gets just brown. We want to brown it just a bit. And that's really going to give it a flavor. So we're going to lay it across, put some olive oil on there. We're going to roast it, then we're going to pull it out. We're going to layer it in there with sauce and the cheeses. Then we're going to bake it for about 30 minutes. Unbelievable, it's going to be delicious. I'll tune right back with you guys. All right, guys, here we go. So this is fun. And so you guys know I've had a couple of shots of espresso already. So if you find me to be a little bit pepped up, that's the caffeine kick, okay? So this is all broken down. So this has been sitting there for quite a while, right? And there's a couple simple, easy ways to do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle the bottom of this with some olive oil. Now this is olive oil right from my property. Vito and Joe's extra virgin Italian olive oil, okay? So that's beautiful. And then what I'm going to do is I just take the eggplant, right? And I just drizzle it right across. Now, there's no reason to really salt it because the eggplant already has salt on it. So sometimes you can take, depending on how much eggplant you have, you can take the eggplant and you can, let me get that out of our way. You can take the eggplant and put it in a bowl and then, you know, drizzle it, if you will, with olive oil and stir it up. But if you guys have watched any of our roasting videos, essentially that's what you're doing. Eggplant is phenomenal. We did a great one with roasted eggplant, goat cheese. You can do almonds, walnuts. It's really great stuff. Now these won't take long at all, so you're going to throw them in an oven, 375, 400 degrees, even hotter if you want, depending on the thickness. Just remember, the hotter you are, you better just stay around because you don't have a whole lot of time for it to go. It's not going to take that long at all, all right? Isn't this cool? We're in Italy and in my house cooking. Isn't that awesome? So that's simply how that goes. Okay, so there it is laid out. You've got olive oil on it, all right? It's already been salted because you use salt to dry it out. Then I'm going to throw it in the oven. I'm going to throw it in the oven at, like I said, about 375, 400 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of it done. I'll show you what it looks like when I pull it out of the oven, and then we'll start putting this puppy together, right? It's going to be great. Molto diletto. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Un moment. All right, guys, you ready? Here we go. So this one's done. Oh, see, that's delicious. Do you see that? Now, this one got a little overdone right there, just sort of thinner, but you see how they're nice and brown, and they're all nice and tender, all right? And the roasting is going to give it a flavor you can't get by frying it. It gives it a deep, rustic depth of flavor, like I said, that you typically can't reproduce any other way. So this is done, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to put it on the plate, okay? And then what we're going to do is we want to be as gentle as we can, obviously. And then we're going to use this, let it cool, right? Because it's too hot. See how nice and, see how the fiber's all broken down in that one? See how nice and soft that's going to be? It's, oh my God, it's beautiful. Okay? So then what we're going to do is we'll let this cool. These will firm up, and then as soon as these are cooled, then what you can do is work with them, and we're going to piece together our eggplant lasagna, okay? And this will be fun. And then we'll salt it and pepper it and season it up as we do it, all right? I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. Hey guys. All right, here we go. Look at that. It's still steaming. I'm surprised there's any eggplant left in there because I have to say my camera person and I have been nibbling. So you've got an Italian eggplant. We've got about 8 to 9 eggplants on there, okay? And now we've salted them, if you will, extracted moisture, squeezed them. You can wring them right out. You can put a plate on there, as I said earlier, to really break down that moisture, and then we roasted them at around 375, 400 degrees. You can go even warmer. And I want to show you something here. These just came out. But you see that nice brown roast right there? Now that's not burned. If something burns, obviously don't use it, but that's what you want. You want, not all of it, but you see how some of them have that nice brown roast? That's what you're looking for. You're looking essentially to have a roasted eggplant, a roasted vegetable inside this when we put it together, okay? So we've got a nice, perfect sized dish. We're going to take some sauce. My mouth is watering, so bear with me here, okay? And you always want to start with some sauce on the bottom. You're just going to make a nice bed of sauce on the bottom, okay? That's all. All right? And this is simple. You're going to find a lot of, truly authentic, that's good stuff. Truly authentic Italian dishes are real simple. I mean, you do not put a lot of ingredients and a lot of flavoring, okay? So, essentially, we've got that. Oh, look at that, beautiful. I'm going to have that one, I'll tell you that. I want to mark in my mind where that piece of eggplant is, okay? Now, this is a little bit warmer than I jump into normally, but as you can probably tell, our lighting's a little off, our sound's a little off in this kitchen, so we're trying to do the best we can here. We've got a little radio playing in the background. Okay, so I'm just going to put some nice layers. You're going to overlap a little bit. Okay? And beautiful. And just keep putting it together. So this is a little warmer, like I said, than I normally go with. But you definitely want to overlap the side. Alright? And you've got, this has got the olive oil, the salt. You don't need any salt because you've still got some of the salt left over. If you find there's any salt residue, you can always wash it off real quick before you roast them, if you think that's necessary. Most of it will wring out. So there's a couple open little spaces in here, right? So don't worry about it. You can just pull your own eggplant apart. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? A couple little bit more. Okay, perfect, right? Now, what I like to do is just give it a little grind of pepper. It's already got your salt. Now we want our mozzarella and our Parmesan. Now, the mozz I always like to do, or the mozzarella, we say it a little different in New York, right? My mouth is watering. Can you guys smell this? I mean, just the smell of the roasted eggplant. So we're going to use the mozzarella over the top. And that's always my favorite, but you certainly want some Parmesan as well. You want to just brown and crisp it. So I'm going to put a nice layer, okay, nice even layer, and then I'm going to take my Parmigiano-Reggiano. Hey, how you doing, huh? And put a nice thin layer over the top. Oh, this is great. I tell you, the smells in this kitchen, just the roast and the flavor, that's perfect, okay? Now you're just going to do another layer, right? You're going to pop this in, put some sauce over the top, right? And you're just going to keep putting it together. Now what I like to do when I make the mozzarella, when I make the lasagna, is I don't like to put a top over it right away, because I want, you might have to depending on how the cheese is cooking on the top, but I want that moisture to come out. If not, I don't know if you guys have ever made a lasagna, and it gets too watery. If you don't let the moisture escape, what happens is the lasagna, or any dish for that matter, depending on what you're making, it'll get watery, it'll get really moist, and when you cut into it, it kind of all falls apart. We don't want that, right? So, there you go, right? There's your first layer. Now I'm going to put another layer together, right? Hey guys, I thought I'd join you in on that last one. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So, I got to tell you, I'm right down. I had about eight eggplant. I probably could have used 9, but that's alright. But that's perfect, okay? So I hit it with a little bit of pepper. I always like to, hit it with the pepper at the end, and that way all the flavors marry with it, okay? And then basically what I've got is I've got the cheese and the sauce, and this is my top layer. So I'm going to do the top layer just a little different, and I'm only filling in a couple of holes here from underneath, okay? So the top layer, I'm going to put the sauce right over the top, okay? And I'll tell you, the cheese, the amount of cheese and Parmesan and everything is, I want to say, almost perfect. And a beautiful copper pan. So we try to get a lot of stuff here at the house in Italy to try to keep with the theme. It's an old rustic Italian villa. And if you look at here, the fireplace, there's a bench right behind me. I guess I'll digress here on a little bit of the... There's a bench right behind me, and there was actually a bench here and here, and the opening here was much smaller, and what the men would do when they would farm for the olives is they would build a fire in here. There's a hook in here for an old light, and they would come in here in the winters to late October, November, sometimes December. It gets very cold and damp here in Puglia, Italy, and they would stay warm in here. Just amazing if you really think about it. So we took some of that out and tried to keep some of the same theme, same feel in the house, and at the same time, oh, I'm taking a little taste, and at the same time try to give you that beautiful feel of old Italy and mix it with modern use of the kitchen. So hopefully you guys like it. So here we go. We're just going to put our last bit of mozzarella on the top. So I'm not going to cover this at all right now. I'm going to see how it goes. Essentially what will happen, we're going to put it in the oven about 350 degrees, 325 to 350. And then what we're going to do is going to let it cook. You're going to start to see it bubble. And as long as it's heating perfectly and the top isn't getting too brown, I'm just going to let it cook for that 30-35 minutes. If I find that it's starting to heat, but the top's really starting to get really brown, then I'll cover it to prevent the top from overcooking, and I'll pull it off in those last 5 to 10 minutes, just to give you a heads up. So I'm going to pop this in the oven right now, and when we tune back, we're going to have a beautiful eggplant parmesan lasagna, okay? I'll talk to you guys in a couple minutes. Hey guys, look at that puppy. That is good. That is hot. Very hot. So you're going to see, I just pulled it out. And you're going to see top's nice and brown. You see how it's got a little bit of movement to it because it's still really hot? So I'm going to let this set for about 15-20 minutes. We're going to let it set, cool, drop. It's going to solidify, come together. Then we're going to, my favorite part, we're going to cut it, taste it, eat it. It's going to be awesome. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Hey guys, welcome back. Here we go. Pulled that out of the oven. It's been set about 20-25 minutes. It's still really hot, but I got a nice dish here. I put a little bit of the Parmesan grated on top. I have not taken a bite. I'm not going to tell you I haven't like licked a finger, but you're going to see the cheese. If you can see here how nice and gooey the cheese is. And nice and hot. Oh, look at that. It's still hot. Can you guys taste that right now? I mean, everything right from Italy, you know what I mean? Oh my God. That is absolutely delicious. Not only is the cheese fantastic, those nice thin layers, we got 5 layers out of it, right? So the cheese is great, but again, like I said, you've got that eggplant, which is roasted, so you just get a depth of flavor out of that that you can't get any other way. Absolutely delicious. With the eggplant right here from Italy, the cheeses, all the flavors, the sauce, the pomodoro, molto deleccio. Guys, I gotta tell you, it's such an honor and real privilege to have you guys come in to my home, to my villa, to my kitchen here right in Italy, right in Vito. Something I often talk about, right here with our olive grove, joining in with some of our olive oil and our salt and our produce that we get right here from our farm. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoy a beautiful, simple, delicious Italian authentic recipe. Thank you for allowing me to share my traditions, my heritage with you. Bon appetit. I'll talk to you guys next week.
It's the